Why does Tokyo Twilight feel like Ozu's bleakest film? Ozu was no stranger to generational conflict or families quietly falling apart. But this film seems different. It's more tragic than bittersweet. Take Tokyo Story. That film made me cry a river. It observes aging parents and drifting children with a quiet sense of transience, one that settles into acceptance, even continuity. But in Tokyo Twilight, there is no such transience, only a growing disorientation and a deeper emptiness. Set in the dead of winter, the only warmth in the film doesn't come from people, but from a steaming teapot. Yasujiro Ozu's leisurely paced, multi-perspective dramas unfold through conversations. He often drops us into a scene without much framing or context. His famous pillow shots mark shifts in time and place, letting the emotion of a moment settle. It's the cinema of mono no aware, life's impermanence felt through quiet, everyday moments. At the center of Tokyo Twilight is a family already under strain. Shukichi Sugiyama is a middle-aged banker living with his two daughters. Takako has just left her troubled marriage and returned home with her young child. Akiko, on the other hand, is more unsettled. She spends her time in a mahjong parlor and a bar, trying to track down her boyfriend, Kenji. Akiko is pregnant, and she needs his help to arrange an abortion. Things grow more complicated with the return of their mother, Kisako, who had left the family years earlier for another man. Her reappearance doesn't bring closure. It only reopens something that was never resolved. Akiko ends up carrying the weight of all of this. She's caught between a father who values propriety and a mother who chose absence. No one really acknowledges what she's going through. And just like that, she's gone, never receiving the love that might have mended what was broken. Seasons in Ozu's films work as emotional undercurrents, but I think they never just mean one thing. Spring suggests beginnings, but Ozu reminds us that every blossoming comes with a slow wilting of what came before. Summer is energetic and bright. It is the high noon of the younger generation's lives, but that can be quite draining to the elders. Autumn suggests acceptance and gentle melancholy. Ozu sees it as a time for reflection and for holding on to one's dignity, which can be both peaceful and incredibly lonely. But winter in Tokyo Twilight comes close to meaning just one thing: the unrelenting emotional coldness. While spring, summer, and autumn suggest movement, a kind of internal journey, winter holds everything in place. The family unit doesn't evolve, and the past doesn't resolve. Perpetually wrapped in heavy wool coats, the characters wear their winter clothing like emotional armor. A frost has settled over their relationships. In the mahjong parlor's mechanical chatter or the cocktail lounge's neon-lit vacuum, voices fill the space, but warmth never arrives. The doctor at the abortion clinic is compassionate, yes, but it is a transactional kindness. She offers a clinical exit from a possible social nightmare. So winter defines this emotional logic, and it's the condition that ultimately breaks Akiko. The most striking aspect of Ozu's characters is their moral ambiguity. Akiko is marked as a troubled girl. She smokes, drinks, comes home late, moves through gambling crowds, has premarital sex, and gets pregnant. But Ozu also frames her as sincere, with a raw, desperate willingness to reach out. In a warmer Ozu film, this vulnerability might have been absorbed into the familiar rhythm of family life. Here, a dysfunctional family and an indifferent boyfriend leave that pain with no place to settle. Shukichi is a classic Ozu patriarch, measured, composed, a man of order. But his care stays within appropriate gestures that never quite bridge the gap Akiko is trying to cross. At one moment, Shukichi idles in a pachinko parlor, and his assistants giggle about how much he enjoys it. Later, after a tense encounter, Akiko wonders if she is really her father's daughter. The film never answers the question directly, but Ozu suggests a resemblance in how both of them take comfort in distractions. Kisako's disappearance years ago is the fault line that cracked this family open. Still, Ozu's portrayal of her brims with compassion. There are no tearful reunions or pleas for forgiveness. Kisako stoically accepts her daughter's condemnation, but we feel the weight of what she's carried, a life shaped by surviving the war and its aftermath alone. Takako, the elder daughter, is bitter about her mother's abandonment and her husband's abusive nature. Even then, she keeps her composure, tends to her child, and offers practiced smiles. Takako eventually decides to go back to her husband. Ozu doesn't valorize her position. One could say she hates her mother and refuses to let her daughter inherit that same sense of abandonment. But Takako is also pushing back against her father's stoic belief that one parent's presence is enough. More misery may await her, but perhaps she'll find a way to endure. The mother, too, with a gentle companion beside her. But Akiko cannot. Her crisis of belonging and identity doesn't come from a lapse in judgment. It's the result of being trapped in a world that refuses to register her pain in the present. On her deathbed, Akiko is finally ready to commit to living, just as life has no place left for her. Tokyo Twilight is Ozu's final black and white film. In the pre-war films, Ozu's Tokyo promised movement and possibility. There is hardship, but it unfolds within a world that still feels shared. By the 1950s, Ozu's Tokyo feels more structured and impersonal, carrying a tone of quiet resignation. In the late Ozu, the city's distance and loneliness are absorbed into everyday life. It becomes something one simply lives with. But Tokyo in this film feels like a city in limbo, a nocturnal landscape of disconnection. Ozu's pillow shots often capture industrial smokestacks, railway bridges, and dark alleyways, but they also include clotheslines and open horizons. In this film, nature is nearly absent. Combined with winter's coldness, the city's indifference keeps everything in a state of suspension. In this Tokyo, Akiko drifts through her final days, visibly exhausted, waiting for support that never arrives. Kisako, too, waits for a cathartic reunion, or at least a farewell. We linger at the station for a goodbye that never happens, as if the city itself refuses closure. And while Akiko is dying, Ozu cuts to a swinging clock pendulum. It's as if to say the dull march of time keeps plodding, even as a life is ending in despair. So, what makes Tokyo Twilight the bleakest Ozu film is not the misfortune its characters endure, but the persistent denial of any solace that might make those circumstances bearable. A teapot is always ready in Kisako's parlor. The tea is warm and waiting to be shared with her daughters, but it never is.